Today's lesson is solving multi-step equations. Our objectives are to combine like terms to simplify an equation and to use distributive property to simplify an equation. When you count by ones from any integer, you are counting consecutive integers. We have two consecutive integers, or x plus 1 equals something. So use these formulas. These are very helpful formulas when they ask you a question about them. And then there's three consecutive integers, so x and x plus 1 and x plus 2. So use these equations for it. Now, when you count by twos from any integer, you are counting even or odd consecutive integers. So if I do 2, then 4, I'm counting by twos. So if you have two even or odd consecutive integers, you use this formula down here at the bottom. And then three even or odd consecutive integers, you use x plus 2, x plus 3. Use these. These are very helpful information that you can have on when you do problems or anything like that. So, we're going to start off with some of the basic stuff that we have done for one-step equations. If you remember, we started off on one-step equations. We learned how to add or subtract. Subtract from the variable, and then we that's always going to be on two-step equations usually. That's what you're going to do. And then you're either going to multiply or divide. From the variable. Okay. But on this section right here, you also are going to combine like terms on same side. So, if I look at this section, on A, my combining of like terms is 3a plus 2a. So, I'm going to do 3a plus 2a. Well, if I add them up, it would be 5a. And then I would put equal 5. And then I don't have to add or subtract anything from a variable because there's nothing to add or subtract. But there is multiplying, so I need to divide 5 to find out what a equals. A equals 5 divided by 5 is 1. And there's your answer. Let's look at B. I have 6c minus 7c. They're both the same. They both have c's, the same kind of c's, just one, not c squared and c to the third. They're both just c's. So it's going to be 6c minus 7c. Well, that's negative 1c equals 8. Still not adding or subtracting. Notice negative 1 is not adding or subtracting. It is multiplying to the c. So I'm going to divide by 1. So I'm going to have c equals negative 8. C, this is a little different. I have a 3d and I have minus 7d. They're both the same. So notice I kept the minus sign with the 7d because that minus goes with the 7d. So if I did it, it would be 3d minus 7d. That would make it negative 4d or minus 4d. I don't care how you do that. Plus 1 equals negative 12. Now notice on this one I have, now it's gone back to the two-step equations we learned from the last lesson. So we're going to add or subtract first. Well, I can subtract 1 first. So it's negative 4d equals negative 12 minus 1. So they're both negatives. If I look on a number line, I start with negative 12 and I'm subtracting 1. I'm going towards negative 13. So I'm adding the two numbers and keeping it negative. Then I need to get negative 4 by itself. Well, it's multiplying to D, so I'm going to divide by negative 4 to both sides. All right. Please feel free to leave as an improper fraction, but remember they're both negative, so let's make them positive. So 13/4. And you can leave it like that. If you want to turn it into a mixed number, you can. That would be 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Okay. D. Jake and Samantha collect model airplanes. Samantha has 4 fewer than twice as many model airplanes as Jake. Together, they have 14 models. Solve the equation. So they gave you the formula. Aren't they nice? Look at that. They gave you the formula. M plus 2m minus 4 equals 14. So, again, I'm going to put m plus 2m minus 4 equals 14. Now, I notice that these are like terms on the same side. These two are the same. So you're going to add them up together. Well, that number in front of that m is 1. So it's going to be 1m plus 2m. That is, I'm going to bring it to the side over here. So it's going to be 3m minus 4 equals 14. Now let's come back to a two-step equation. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So it's 3m equals 18. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So m is 6. So 6 is Jake. And she has, well, I don't know, 14 minus 6. That's Jake. And Samantha, or Sam, is 14 minus 6. So that would be 8. So she has 8 and he has 6. Okay, example 2. It says find the integers, the sum of 3 consecutive integers. Now remember, the formula is on the front. Use those. You will need to use it when you do your homework. So the formulas are for 3 consecutive integers is x, then x plus 1, and then x plus 2. Notice I put a plus sign between all of them, equals 96. Then I'm going to combine like terms. I have a few like terms here. I have x, and they're all adding together. So x plus x plus x. Remember that's 1, 1, and 1. So 1x plus 1x plus 1x is 3x. And then notice I'm squaring off these two. So 1 plus 2 is 3 equals 96. Now we're on a two-step equation. So I'm going to subtract 3 to both sides. So it's 3x equals 93. And I divide by 3. So x equals 31. So that's my first number, 31. But there's 3 consecutive numbers. So 31. The next number after 31, it happens to be 32. And the next number after that is 33. So we have our 3 consecutive numbers right there. Then on B, it says find 2 consecutive even integers. So using the formulas I gave you at the beginning also, it would be, we're just doing 2 consecutive even integers. So it's going to start with x, and then x plus 2. And then the sum of it is 66. And then I would like you to try it on your own. Please put me on pause, check it out, and see what 2 numbers you're going to come up with. Okay, so you do your 2x plus 2 equals 66. subtract 2, so it's 2x equals 64. And you divide by 2 and it's 32. But it's also asking for a second number, and that second number happens to be the next even number, so it's 32 then 34. If it was odds and the answer was 31, it would be 31 then 33. That's how they're asking you to do this. All right. Okay. Example 3. If you have distributed, I'm going to write down some stuff you need to do on this one. Step 1 on this kind is step 1 is you distribute, if possible. Distribute, if possible. Step 2, combine like terms on same side. Now, combining like terms, remember on the same side, you do not change the sign on the same side. You do what it's asking you to do. On the same side. Step 3. Add or subtract. By this time we should have like 2-step equations. And then step 4 is multiply or divide. So if I look at A, I can distribute that 2, so I'm going to distribute the 2. So it's going to be 10x minus 6 equals 14. Well, I don't have any combining of like terms, so I'm going to step 3, which is adding and subtracting. And remember, like I said, by this time it should be in 2-step equation, and it is. So now I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So it's 10x equals 20. Then now I have only 10 left, so it's multiplying. 10 is multiplying, so we need to divide. So it's going to be x equals 2. I'm going to let you do B by yourself, but right now we'll do C. So on C, I still get to distribute. I'm going to distribute the -3. I'm going to leave 38 the way it is. So -3 times 4y is -12y. -3 times 2 is -6. And then plus y. There's no, the parenthesis ends after the 2, so do not distribute it past the 2. Now it says I go down to my step 2. And that's combine like terms on the same side. Well, here's a like term and here's a like term. So remember, that's a 1. So I have -12 plus 1. If I looked at my number graph, it starts at -12 and I'm adding 1. So it's going to be -11. So it's going to be 38 equals -11y minus 6. Now it's a 2-step equation, like I said. So step 3 means I'm going to add or subtract. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And that would be, all right, so it's 44 equals -11y. So I'm going to divide by -11. And so y equals -4. Okay, I'd like you to try B and D by yourself using these steps. Put me on pause, check them out, see if you got them correct afterwards. Okay, so what I did was I took and I made it quicker for myself, but you guys have to show your work, Dalton. And so M on B, M equals 14/3 or 4 2/3. I don't care which one you do. And for D, X equals -14. All right, let's see if we have anything else. Nope, goodbye.